Do you want high quality playmats? That's NobleAsta.com. Playmats guaranteed to help you win. That's NobleAsta.com. Visit 1000noble.com.
Playmats not actually guaranteed to help you win locals. Look cool, maybe, but not help you win. Not at all. Not even close, but maybe.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here with Purple Luffy versus Green Uta. A solid way to start off OP08.5. I was able to find a official tournament going on, so I did end up hopping in that, and this is our first round. This is round 2 of the tournament. I did end up with the round 1 bye, unfortunately, but yeah, so my opponent knew Genesis's and then passes turn, and I get my 2 Dawn and pass turn. Not much I can really do here. Tapping or attaching 1 Dawn on lead and swinging, revealing the Brook. I do decide to give the 2k there, not really wanting to take life because I do want to I want to ramp up and drop something. I think that dropping I believe a Magellan, yeah, I have 2 Magellans in my hand. I want to drop another Magellan. I think that slowing Uta down and making sure they can't get to 9-drop Shanks, pretty solid choice. So I end up swinging 5 with my leader, and they go ahead and use the, I believe that's Gordon blocker. Go ahead and block that, and we end up ramping, tapping 5 and dropping Magellan, able to minus the Dawn. So they're at 2 Dawn at this moment. We're at 4. They're going up to 4 Dawn. So, and now we have a 6k body to continually poke, which is wonderful, honestly. Uta, definitely a deck I've struggled with in the past, and the new Uta blocker comes down, discarding a Gordon to give their leader a rested Dawn. That blocker is honestly really solid. They reveal, I believe that's new Genesis, and I do go ahead and use a Uso Hachi to get out of that. And we're going up to 6 Dawn, but I do have the Zoro Juro as well as the Luffy Taro. And I'm thinking, I think I have to play aggressively. And I think that this is one of the things I struggle with the most with the Purple Luffy deck, is knowing when to take my life and knowing when to not. But we go ahead and we swing 6, and they give us that 2k Luffy from the starter deck. I go ahead and swing at 5, just trying to get card out of hand or something like that, but they do end up taking their life. Fine by me. They do have their little Axolotl friend to protect their remaining life, and I go ahead, leader ability, we get a 9 mom and get up to 7, dropping down the Luffy Taro. This combination feels so good. Luffy Taro into the Zoro Juro, and we are going to go ahead and search for a Straw Hat. Seeing 2 of our laws, kind of unfortunate because, you know, I get nervous around Green Uta, just the times I've played them in the past where they have just so many cards in hand. Very, very scary. But we do end up, we thought about the Frenosuke, but we end up taking the Onami. I feel like should be a really good way to cycle some of the dead cards I have in my hand, or some of the counterless cards. I don't want to call them dead. If I could get another Magellan on board, I think that'd be a pretty solid choice. Even Queen, I think, could be pretty solid, depending on if they play something big and scary. But yeah, nothing really like dead in our hand. But you know, I do get very nervous taking so much of my own life. But yeah, so they end up playing the search to search out the Nami, which would have loved to avoided that. But yep, the Nami is here. Of course, the Nami not included in the starter deck for who knows. Bad choice by Bandai. I know we're all shocked. But the Brook comes down, playing out. Yes, you guessed it, the Nami tapping 1 Dawn and going ahead and searching the top, is it 3? I think it's top 3, getting that 2k Luffy off the search. Pretty solid. Once again, card new in the starter deck, so I feel like everybody got some decent cards in the starter deck. I am thinking about throwing together Newgate, I know. The Uta ability discards another, I believe that's Gordon. Maybe I'm lying. But attaches the Rested Dawn and the Active Dawn, swinging 7 at lead. And they end up getting the 2K Sanji, and I do decide to take, and we get a 0 cost, so now I'm feeling a lot better. We got a pretty solid board here. I get another Luffy Taro, but I don't think I have anything to play out. I think if I play it out and minus that Dawn, the Nami won't get, from my understanding at least, the Nami won't get that Queen ability because I'll be at 7 Dawn, and Nami needs to be at 8 Dawn to get that Queen ability. The discard 1 to draw 2 ability is what I mean by when I say the Queen ability. So I'm trying to think about what my best play is here. So we go ahead and we swing at 6 at lead, I believe. And yep, he ends up taking it. You can see he has a really pro gamer playmat. Just giving him a fun time about that. Ends up taking the Luffy Taro 8K, and the 6K coming through from Zoro gets us the 2K counter. So there's one of the 2Ks we know gone. Swinging the 5. And at this point I'm like, okay, I think that I need to ramp, and I need to drop Queen and get that big body on board, and potentially get the Nami search off board. Or maybe I Luffy Taro. I think at this point, if I ramp and Luffy Taro, I think I can still get the benefit from Nami. So I do go ahead and ramp, and I get 9 cost Kaido, and that I literally remember saying, oh, that changes things. I remember my opponent being like, oh no, I don't like that. So we got 9 cost Kaido, and I feel like as tempting as dropping the Luffy Taro into the Nami is, I do end up dropping 9 Kaido, and I just pop the Nami, and I'm torn between popping the blocker or the Nami, but I choose the Nami. I don't want him to gain that card every turn, and we go ahead and swing 10, and he does end up taking, which is pretty solid for us. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. We have a giant board, we have a lot of counter in hand, and we have a pretty good start here. And my opponent, most importantly, is only at 8 Dawn, if I'm not mistaken. So no 9 cost Shanks to ruin my day. Shout out to Magellan, really. Tempted. I was tempted. I did want to drop another one just to keep them really off of 9 Dawn, but you know, I'll take this. I think by the time, if they don't kill me my thought is if they don't kill me this turn, I will kill them next turn. So maybe that's true, maybe it's wrong. I'm feeling, depending on what their hand size looks like, I don't play a lot at this store, so the camera is a little off, but yeah, my opponent's sorting through their Dawn, trying to figure out their best course of action here. And yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling like I can protect a lot of my bodies, and one thing that my opponent is struggling with is the fact that if they do kill, you know, Magellan, they have to minus 2 Dawn, and that stinks. So yeah, pretty solid position to be in, if I'm not mistaken. But they do go ahead and just go 5 to poke at life, see what I have. I give them a 1K. Worried that they're going to start trying to dwindle my hand and hit me with something I don't expect. But may not be the case here. They end up dropping a Brook into the Uta blocker, the 3 cost Uta blocker. Was that from the other Uta starter deck? I think it was. And then they backlight my Zorojuro, which, super bummer. I definitely did want to keep him on board for obvious reasons. And with the remaining Dawn, it looks like they have 2 Dawn up. They can still Uta ability, blocker Uta ability. And honestly, like, I like that blocker Uta in there. because yes, it's a pretty solid blocker, big blocker, but it helps get rid of cards from their hand. They might be dead cards, but still cards. That blocker Gordon is actually also really interesting, but yeah, here he is thinking about the fact that he would have to minus 2 Dawn if he swung into Magellan, and not really wanting to do that at this point of the game. He ends up tapping 2, but he ends up tapping 2 to get rid of it. I want to say Backlight, but I don't know which event that is. Oh yeah, it is Backlight. So swings 5, and I give him a 2k there. My hand is looking kind of low on counter, and I'm definitely, at this point I'm thinking, maybe I can't get through. I have 2 big swings, but he has 2 blockers, and I believe he had a decent amount of cards in hand. So, kind of thinking like, oh no, I might have screwed myself with the Kaido. I go ahead and swing at 6 at life, I believe, and my opponent, being fancy about thinking about it, ends up giving me the 2k counter, which I'm fine with. That's definitely preferable, I think. You don't really have a way to get through, I think. And so I'm thinking at this point we might want to block her up and clear, try and clear board. So we swing the 8 into the Brook, trying to keep him alive, thinking one less swing, and he does let Brook go, which was not fully expected. So I am torn between swinging 10 at lead, but I do go ahead and try and get that poke in. And yeah, I feel like at this point I have to block her up and hope that I don't think that with a blocker, unless he has another backlight, I don't think there's a way he can kill me. So I go ahead and draw 2, getting another Magellan. And yeah, I'm pretty worried at this point with how many bricks I have in my hand. Thankfully I have 1 0 cost, but if my opponent has, there's a lot of things my opponent can have that can really put a damper on my day. And thankfully he's still at 8 Dawn at this point. So I do have the 0 cost event, and I can take 1 life if I need to, as well as having a blocker. So unless he plays something with Rush or loads up a character a lot, I think we are sitting pretty good, in all honesty. So yep, somebody was just confused about the life card because of his really pro gamer playmat there. But my opponent goes ahead and swings 6, and I just give him the Frenosuke to counter out of that, trying to use as much. Oh, and look at that, there is Hody. So definitely the Hody was scary. I was not really thinking about the Hody. Granted, I think that when Hody drops, I'm like, oh no. And then I'm thinking about it, and I was like, okay, Hody makes him take his own life. He can move the rest of Dawn onto lead, so that's a 6. I have a 2k, and then the 8 I can counter out of the 8 if I need to. The 8 from Hody, or I can just take, and I think I win on the clapback. I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is good. This is feeling pretty solid. Winning. I can do this. So he ends up swinging 6, revealing another Uta, and I give him the 2k, putting him in a tough spot. But then he swings the blocker, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't expect the blocker swing. Swinging 6 with the blocker, I do give him the 0 cost event and the Magellan, and then swinging the 8 at me, I get the Luffy Taro out of life and passes turn. So I think realistically, I think that the Hody was in my opinion, probably his best play. It does suck that he had to take his life there, but I don't see, with what I had in hand, I just don't see what else he could have done. So we swing 7 with the, or 8 with the Luffy, get some counter out of hand, and then we end up swinging with the rest on the Kaido, and we are able to get game. So really fun game. Probably the most fun I've had playing against Green Uta in my life. Yeah, it was just really fun, and I mean, I felt like it was a lot slower than it seemed. And so yeah, here we are doing some math, talking about his, what his best option could have been, and things of that nature. Something that I like to do with opponents because I know it helps me. So doing that with my opponents is friendly. So yeah, I am gonna go ahead and end it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, Purple Luffy feeling really good so far. We'll have another Purple Luffy video tomorrow. And yeah, it's honestly, I'm really liking the deck. I think that I've been playing it too shyly in the past, but now it's time. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. Helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.